Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Dr. Umar, what the hell is going on? I said peace, Pan-Africanism. We're going to talk about Dr. Umar. We're going to talk about the passing of D from what's happening. We're going to talk about folks just unleashing people in Washington, D.C. We don't have to really go into it. And we might get into the Gladys Knight situation depending on what time. But the most important story we're going to talk about is Giovanni, the 18-year-old that went missing when he went to go meet with his cousins. All this, guys, on Another Mother, episode 29.
Who's not, fool?
I bring the zen.
Dopamine.
I bring the zen.
Dopamine.
I bring the zen.
Dopamine.
I bring the zen.
I bring dopamine.
We another mother. Poddio. Hey.
Another mother. Poddio. Hey.
We another Mario. He needs to get on beat.
No, you're on beat for me.
Here we go. Here we go from the Mother Freaking Show. Here we go. Here we go. Get your coffee, get your tea, and get your life. I'm your host, Lisa Renee, and my co-host is
Big Black Ant, Wild Ant, Wheezy, what up?
Big Black Ant Wheezy 916 Sack Town. How about that guy? But we're going to keep it live, keep it funky, keep it fresh, because at the end of the day, human beings, we ain't perfect. So trying to create something perfect for you wouldn't be real.
Right.
So we're going to keep it just as real as it is. We need Aunt Wow to get on beat.
She need to get on beat. I was trying to follow her.
I need him to get on beat.
Terrible. Terrible.
Him.
Terrible.
It is not even funny, guys. Tell me what you're drinking. Are you drinking your coffee, your tea, or your life? Which one is it? Which one is it? And they all got healthy components to them. So let's talk about from a health standpoint. Coffee, right? A natural bean, not all the sugar, not all the cream and all of that type of stuff, but it helps your stamina. They say it helps your brain to be more alert and more focused. Tea has good antibiotics in them.
Like tea.
Antioxidants, I mean, in them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but
shut up. Okay, shut up. Antioxidant, y'all. I've been working around the clock if y'all don't know. So when I say like my last post, that brain be delirious, try flying, be a flight attendant, and you will understand. You will mix words and jumble words up. But tea does have a lot of antioxidants in it. And then water. We can't survive. Hey, I ain't trying to give nobody no advertisements for free.
Yeah, facts. That's why I got this.
Anyway.
Hold on, let me make sure you can't see my.
But you need your water. You need it to survive. Got my apple right here with good old fiber in it, guys. Listen, we can't preach it enough. We've got to take care of ourselves.
Oh, dude.
We got to be mindful what we put in our mouth. And that, that's all of us. I've been trying to I'm not a dairy person because I've been a vegan for so long, but I've been switching over to vegetarian. And I can tell you the difference of adding dairy. I could hear myself, guys, and wow, at night, my asthma just flaring up.
Yeah.
Versus when I don't have dairy, I'm fine.
Yep.
Listen, cow people, don't come mess with me. I'm just telling you from my biology, my DNA, I'm finding myself even snoring. I never snore. The minute I started eating dairy, why am I snoring?
Yeah.
Dr. Sabi tried to talk to us about some stuff. That's all we're saying from a health perspective. We want to bring something each week because I feel like a lot of times in our household, we just didn't talk about it enough. And a lot of people are struggling with a lot of medical conditions. And I guarantee you it will tie down to your health. We're not
Yep.
talking about the Band-Aid. Oh, take this medicine. Oh,
Nah.
take this medicine. That's nothing but the
No.
Band-Aid over the wound. We're
Mm-mm.
talking about getting to the root cause of why you're acting, why you're breaking out with rash or hives
Yeah.
or things like that. Like
Yep.
it's probably something that you're consuming in your body because there's just so much going on with our food these days, you know?
Yep.
So we just want to bring that to you guys. So let's get into the story. I'm gonna share my screen really quick because as a mom, um, you know, this story really hits me really hard. So I'm just going to share this really quick. And then Aunt Wow, we will come back and we will talk about this story because it's just heartbreaking.
Florida investigators may be closing in on answers in the disappearance of 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier. He vanished 20 minutes later. His mom got a chilling text. Mom, help.
Want to do our part. You know, Aunt Wow and I have brought you, you know, crime stories before. This is something we're very passionate about. When a story hits one of us, we're like, we've got to bring it on our show. You know, even if we're doing a little part, just a little part to be able to help humanity. That is how we move forward. That's how we get ahead by helping everyone. We all have to do just a little part. And if we do a little part, a lot of those will turn to a large part. So let's break this down. Giovanni, um, his mom and aunt, wow, keep me correct with the story. His mom, his stepfather, their kids went down to Florida for a vacation. And Giovanni turned 18. And one of the things that Giovanni wanted to do when he turned 18, guys, is that he wanted to get to know his father's family. So Giovanni was born into a biracial family. And so his mother raising him, I believe she was Italian. I think she was Puerto Rican too, as well. You know, that's all Giovanni knew. And so Giovanni's father is African American. And so he was just kind of thirsting to understand that because what people don't understand, it's a beautiful thing when other people can raise you, right? But only a black man can really talk to a black man about the steps that he takes. And so Giovanni was thirsting for that and wanting that. As much as he was loved, he still needed to do that. And so he got a part of this chat group on Facebook with some of his family members, and he really seemed like he connected with some of the cousins in the chat group to the point that they decided to actually meet up. So Giovanni's mom thought, hey, it's going to be okay. He's 18 now, and I got to let my baby go, you know, and explore and get to know this side of the family. So it looks like his cousins met him, but they tend to met him at a very, very late time. And Giovanni has been missing since that day. Aunt Wow, did you want to come in and take over?
Well, that was August 3rd, I think, when he was, well, actually, I take that back. August 1st was when he was last seen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think he officially went missing August 3rd. August 1st was the last time that he was seen. They said, meaning his cousin said he started acting erratically and jumped out the car and kind of went into the woods and then hasn't been seen, wasn't seen after that. Um,
And he texts several family members, right?
yeah, he texted several family members, texted his mom with a message that said, "Mom, help me,"
Mm,
um, which is chilling in its own right.
yeah.
Yeah, he was picked up by three cousins that came from Mims, Florida, um, and he wanted to get to know that side of the family that he doesn't know, like you said. But they had only communicated via text messages and FaceTime calls. So unfortunately, again, there's layers, but we're just going to keep it at the story. You know, it, 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 I don't want to say that there is foul play there, but I can understand why the family would feel like there was. If the signs weren't adding up. Now, unfortunately, we didn't know Giovanni. We don't know the people, you know, we don't know whose side is true, but definitely he gets picked up by the cousin's mom. Hey, he turned 18, let him be. You know, it was important for him to get to know that side of the family because, as you said, because I do want to touch on that. It is, and listen, you got. all the people out there that don't know, you just probably won't understand. And it's okay. We're at the stage in the game now. If you just don't understand, you just don't understand.
Right.
But if you are someone, if you're someone who's biracial, especially if one of your um, uh, parts of you that make up the biracial is black, and that's the side of the family that is not in the picture, you have no idea the complications that raise, especially when you're only raised around your mom's side of the family or the side of the family of your parent that does not incorporate the black. Um, I have seen it firsthand. I am from a very mixed community where a lot of people are mixed in X, Y, and Z. I'm very much a part of that. Obviously, I'm not, I'm about black as midnight, but I'm just saying, a lot of my closest friends, all the things. And I see how it affects people when they do not identify with that side. There's a weight there that you cannot even imagine, and there's a level of confusion there that it never goes away because
Hmm.
you're never going to be. It's kind of like one of those things. If you don't identify with black, you have this. You look at black people kind of the same way a lot of people look at black people, but you're a black person, so it's like. You can't identify with the blacks because you're feeling like, for whatever. And there are certain times, depending on who you're around, we may not make it as easy as we could, right? Because I'm not saying me, I'm just saying I always try to be inclusive when it comes to black people. I never try and separate myself. I'm not like this at all, but I'm saying there are certain times where maybe they are given a preconceived notion that just because you're biracial, you may think you're better and all those kinds of things. And those people who are from mixed heritage that have no quorums, they have no identity issues when it comes to being around black folks, they just always fare better. Just in life, period, because there's a huge portion of them that is at peace, right? Like, a couple of my closest friends, like they didn't grow up around their white side of the family because they weren't really accepted on that side. They grew up, I mean, their family is black, black, black. So culturally, they're black. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have the same issues that I've been around other people just throughout life that don't have that connection. There's a big issue there. There's a big part of yourself that you don't know because you don't fit. You're not black enough to fit in with the black kids. You're not white enough to fit in with the white kids. And so you're just kind of stuck in this kind of train. So I'm saying all that to say I understand why he felt the need to go want to identify with that because there's probably a big part of him that was missing, right? I don't know what his stepdad was, but especially if his stepdad wasn't black.
Yeah, he looked very fair, more like he was Puerto Rican.
So
Yeah, he looked like he was more like Puerto Rican or Latin, something like that. And he loved him, he really loved him as if he was his own son. And I think he reached out to his grandfather. He might have reached out to a sister or cousin. I think the cousin did speak on it, but they have deleted their posts since now, maybe because for whatever reason, we really don't know. But it just something doesn't seem right with the story. And kind of like you said, we don't want to say this way or that way. I know the cousin said, like you said, he was acting erratically and they just left him. But, it's like, why would you just leave your family member on the side of the street? But then you guys got to also know they didn't really have a bond or relationship with him either. It was very, new for them too, as well. And so I just hope that we get justice for Giovanni. He seemed like such a sweet kid, such a bright kid. And I know this mother is just probably broken beyond repairment. And so I really hope that we find out what really, really happened in that car. But I would encourage some people you need to keep at a distance. Family, not family.
yeah,
You know,
that's
some people you gotta trust your gut. And then also, because of the way you got to understand the way Giovanni was brought up, some people on the other side of the tracks, allegedly, just saying, this is just my opinion, are sometimes a little envious of that. You like you said, being fair skinned and being this, but in Giovanni's head, he's not thinking of that because Giovanni looks like any other black, younger kid. So he's
I,
probably always been identified as that. But I feel like sometimes there's an envious of that because there's a lot of colorism that happens within our own race, which is just really sad. But it does happen in our own families too, as well.
For sure. I quite frankly, I didn't know he was mixed until obviously reading the story. But then when I seen a picture with him and his
His
mom, like when he
mother.
was kissing his mom, pretty lady too.
Yeah, she was.
Um, and then that's when I was like, oh, okay. And then, obviously then looking at him, I'm like, but his hair and everything like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, there is and again, it's kind of one of those things like you coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it's like, yeah, he wanted to get to know that side of his family. You know, I, here's the messed up part about it is, justice for him, but everything being equal, I commend him for wanting to, because a lot of people don't, right?
Yeah, it's
And they
true.
bury their heads in the sand. So that's why it's unfortunate that there was foul play, because come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. The microscope is on us, dog, like never before. We even have our own trying to convince certain people in our own convincing certain parts of the media world or whatever that we're like these evil beings or something, and it's completely not the case. But then stuff like this happens, and then look at that story. You know what I'm saying? He tried to go meet up with this other side of the family, and then look what happens. So if there was foul play, come on, you guys. Like, we
I
just
know.
gotta. This cat wanted to get to know like, as somebody who's wanted to get to know family, as somebody who's been sought out from family, I've been on both sides. I recently have been the person doing the seeking. You know what I'm saying? That's why me and my sister Candace went to Atlanta last year. Shout out to my cousin Erica. Shout out to my cousin Keith, all of my cousins out there. Because you talk about the open arms and welcome in, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the experience that was supposed to happen. He could have been
But what
acting
he did was
erratic.
very normal because you just went to do it.
I literally just went to do it. That's why I relate to this story,
But I
right?
think the timing, I feel like they picked him up very late. And I think as a mom, if I knew that, I'd have been like, Angel, that doesn't make sense. Why do they need to meet you at 1:30 in the morning? I don't know.
That late?
I thought yeah, I think they picked him up. It seemed like it was really late about, and I could be missing some of the story, but I felt like they picked him up really late. And I just find that very awkward. And I would have told my son, no, sir, we're not going. Now, if we're going to a party or a club, maybe you're picking me up at 11 or something like that. But
Oh, well, yeah. The last time he was seen was around 1:30 when his cousins
okay.
who had never met picked him up. Deputies say he was driving and suddenly began to act erratically. I don't see, there's so many things there. Like, I don't, well,
Yeah.
because here, and because listen, to keep all things equal, to keep all things equal, and, just prayers up to moms,
For the
everybody, this whole
family.
thing. To keep all things equal, because I don't want to automatically admonish the cousins either. On the flip side, they pick him up if he started acting a certain way, because again, we don't know his behavior past either, right? So they don't know him. And anybody who knows, who's been around or is of the black culture, when all that stuff kind of starts happening, we get deuces quick,
True.
right?
True.
So if there was something odd about his personality trait or personality type, and maybe they were doing something that he
I
just
know
was.
that they were smoking WEED.
So
I
that's what I was
understand that
gonna.
was
I just so
happening.
we already went where I was going. I was just about to say they could have been in there. Hey man, we with you, cousin. We were woo. They could have started lighting up like whatever, and he could have been like, "Oh, I'm not da 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 and da da da." And if he got to acting crazy, again, those that have been around or is part of the black what in my words of Tone, my boy, he calls it the BMU, the Black Men's Union. Anybody who's part of that, you already know when somebody get to we get to deuces quick. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why horror movies are funny, because it's like, nah, why do we get killed first? We don't go towards that.
No.
So when that starts happening, because now I'm in the car. If you pick up this person, this is your cousin, but at the same time, you don't really know them, and they get to acting,
Hmm.
and let me out. All right, man, we'll get up out of here, man, because we ain't doing none of that, right? So I do want to acknowledge that side of it too, because we don't know what happened. But back to your point though, 130. I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate. And we don't know, and we don't
Very
know if we'll ever
unfortunate.
know. Um, he could have gotten out. They're in Florida. Who knows where in Florida he got out at,
Yeah.
right? They shouldn't have let him out. What I would have hoped they would have done, that doesn't mean that they're like
Got him to a hospital or
I'm
something.
not even painting them guilty, but yeah, they should have did something. Got him to a lighted place. Hey man, call your mom. Hey dog, we leaving this cat. You better come get him. Something, some sort of update of something. When he
Well, when
got
you
out of
said
the
mom
car,
help, to me, that's an indication that someone is doing something to you.
for sure. But what I'm saying is it doesn't have to necessarily be the cousins.
Mm,
They could have gotten out. They could have just let him out. Like, yo, man, you acting crazy, homie.
right.
Hey, peace.
Yeah.
And then something else happened. Again, we are talking about, and I have to step out of this too, being, in California. But even in California, there's places, man. Hey, if I'm driving to and from SAC, if I'm on that road and I'm out there in the middle of the five and I got to pull over for gas, yeah, I'm leery because I don't know, you know what I mean? These people, they might not be on the same thing I'm on. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're in Florida. You have no idea where you dropped this person off at 2, 3:30 in the morning, right? He
Mm-hmm.
could have been saying, "Mom, help," based off the fact that he was. We don't know, and that's
It's
my
very
point
generic. Yeah.
to the cousins that picked him up. Because again, I'm not painting you guilty. You could be completely innocent. What I'm saying is there's lessons on both sides because even if he was acting erratic, this let this be a lesson to all younger people because these are the kind of things I feel like we need to be retaught because I feel like our generation was taught that. I don't feel like these kids are taught that the same way, right? Just that
Yeah.
whole consideration that I'm talking about. Hey man, you acting erratic. Hey man, call your mom. We dropping you off. Call your mom, tell her where you at. Even if you end up leaving them, take them to somewhere where it's lighted. Hey man, or like you said, take them to the police. Take them to
Hospital
wherever. I
something.
don't know, but take them to somewhere where it's civilization. Hey, you have contact with your mom. Call your mom. Tell your mom whatever, whatever, and then whatever. Or it could have been some foul play. That's why he said, "Mom, help me." We don't know what happened, but I'm saying to admonish yourselves to take the onus off of you. If you had to drop him off, hey man, I had to drop this cat off. Here's where he was, where we dropped him off. He was acting crazy. We didn't know what he was gonna do. Because that way it eliminates us having to talk about anything. Because
Well,
now this kid is no longer here. You could have took
yeah,
him back home and dropped him back off. Again, I don't know how far you were when he started acting crazy. According to your word, right? I'm trying to take your word for it,
right.
but there's foul. It's just unfortunate. It's
What
just
I would, yeah, no, what I would say, and while you know this first and foremost, and people who know me, when I say be mindful of allowing your children to deal with the other side of the family, it can have, as we can see, catastrophic outcomes. Even me allowing a decision for my son and my son's father has had a tremendous impact, has it not, Aunt Wow?
we
So when I tell you, sometimes it's best to leave people over to the left, to the left, to the left. Sometimes it's better to leave them over to the left. And even as a mom, sometimes I want to, I see my son doing all these great things and I want to reach out to his father and I go, you can't. Nope. Nope. That's not your story.
it's not your
That's not
story.
your job. That's not your journey.
Nope.
His father is grown. Your son is grown. If they want to um, have a conversation, that has to be between them. You can't continue to be mommy bear, but I can tell you guys, sometimes it's best to leave situation as is. And the last thing I want to also say, the thing I find is funny is that everyone's talking about the grandfather, the cousins, the mom, the stepfather, but nobody's talking about the father.
Yeah. Where is he? I don't know. He's never been mentioned.
He's never
Did
been
I,
mentioned. And from
did
what
I
they,
miss
from,
him? I didn't see him at all in
no,
the
no,
story
no
ever.
one.
I've read
And
like
they
three
also said
stories.
that side of the family did not help to look for Giovanni at all. And
Yeah.
it seemed kind of strange that they wouldn't, but I also would say again, guys, they're very detached to Giovanni. This is not someone that they grew up with. So there is no attachment. You know what I mean? Some people can be blood cousins and they automatically like, I got your back, I'm this and that. But some people just don't have that. But in my gut, something happened. We don't know what's happened, to be
Yeah,
fair, to both sides. And I just really hope we find out, because as a mom with a child in college, those are your fears. Nobody wants that call.
yeah,
Nobody wants that call. So, like Aunt Wow says, we just wanted to do our part to give back, and we just pray that they find what happened to Giovanni.
yeah.
I
That's
do believe the body has been identified that it is
Yeah,
Giovanni.
it's been confirmed. It's positively identified as him. They're gonna do
Uh,
more tests to kind of try and see if they can determine
but I thought the
if there
test
was
that
foul
came
play.
back, it was inconclusive or something.
Say that again.
They did an autopsy and they said it was inconclusive.
It was inconclusive if foul play had occurred. They're gonna do more. They're gonna do more tests and stuff. But
Please.
as of now, it was inconclusive that any foul play had occurred.
Okay. So, guys, we're going to talk really short on two stories, and then we're going to move quickly to Dr. Umar, because that's the main trending topic. The first thing we want to bring up, because we love her, you know, Aunt Wow and I talked about Gladys Knight before that. I saw in the shade room that her son was basically saying that he feels that his mother is being taken advantage of by her husband, making her work tirelessly, allegedly, all of this, tirelessly, countless hours against her will. And then Aunt Wow was bringing up to me, Aunt Wow, what was it that you had said? I remember this story a while back on. Go ahead and
So they and so everybody, Gladys Knight's people, please do not shoot me. Don't shoot the
yeah, we're
messenger.
just,
I am this is literally right before we came on that we decided to talk about this. So we
yeah,
didn't get a chance to re-research and get all our facts straight. This is
yeah,
us purely just shooting the SHIT.
absolutely.
But from my memory, if it serves me correct, she was in debt um, to Vegas, if you will.
Yeah,
Um, Pretty good sums amount of money. So she had to pretty much she did a residency in Vegas, and like the first year or so of her residency, she actually didn't get paid, other than them paying her bills, because I guess they agreed to pay her bills and whatnot. But other than that, she didn't make any money. All of that money went um, to paying off the gambling debt.
yeah,
And then like the next year so that she was able to finally make some money after she paid off the debt. Well, from my understanding, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but from my understanding, the
allegedly.
way a big reason she even got that debt was because of her husband. So now you're in this situation, you go and perform in Vegas to pay off this debt, and now probably what happened is the debt this is real time thoughts right here. The debt was probably significant enough to the fact to where if she was able to pay it off for a year, husband's probably like, oh snaps, you need to stay on this because you bringing in a ton of money. Because from what I
She
understand, the
sold
debt was
out
pretty,
shows. She was
huh?
selling out. She was selling out shows, from what I understand.
Correct. And the
Yeah,
debt was a pretty good amount. So for them to pay it off in a year means that they was probably doing she's probably making some pretty good change. So then she did it for another year. Now, Gladys Knight is what, 80? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
um, her and Patti LaBelle got to be around the same age, and Patti
70, I
LaBelle, I
think that,
think, is
yeah.
around 80.
Mm-hmm.
So, if she's 81 actually.
You got it?
So,
Okay.
so if
Yep.
if that, and again, that's my theory on it. He's probably, if there's truth to what the son is saying, he's probably, meaning the husband is probably like, oh well, shoot, yeah, you was getting this cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to stay getting this cake. Like, get out there and work, girl. You made all this money in this time. So if that's what's happening, that's if I had to lend any 2 cents to it, that's my philosophy on it. Again, we don't have all the facts. We just decided to literally do
Yeah.
it as we were pressing record for the show. But
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up, first, we love Gladys Knight. We love what she has contributed
for
to
sure.
music. Many of us was raised up on her, hearing our parents sing her songs. And if something is happening to her, outside of her will, kind of similar to Wendy Williams. Things was happening to her outside of her will. We want them to get the help that they necessarily need. And I don't hear a lot of people sharing the story. And so I just wanted to make sure that we kind of put that out there. Again, we don't have all the facts, but we hope that someone can dig enough to get to the bottom of it. And if that is happening, making sure that she is safe, her assets are safe, because she's worked very hard. But I've come to find out a lot of artists, and wow, excuse me, a lot of artists are working to the bone. The only way they are making money is touring.
For sure.
I'm seeing, I mean, think about Mary J. Blige. She
Yeah.
literally talked about having to work to pay off the debt and, the ex-husband and stuff. So it's really sad that these artists don't have the freedom to just enjoy their retirement and perform when they want to perform, being forced to perform. It's really sad, and it says something about the industry of something that, I don't know if it's contracts, management, who knows what it is, but a lot of older artists are still performing.
All of the above.
They are, yeah, they are.
Contracts, management, no control of your, that's listen, they get on, and again, not to make this no color thing, but they really got on the black, you know, entertainers when they were really fighting for their stuff. It gets looked on positively or, a certain way when you look back at the movie Ray with respect to how Ray Charles negotiated his deal. But, at the time, and I wasn't even alive at the time, but I just remember earlier times that was frowned upon for him
Mhm.
to be that diligent. Guess who else it was frowned upon for to be that astute and that diligent about their business? Two people actually, but the number first person, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson was an extremely stringent businessman.
very,
You know
very.
what I'm saying? Very,
Mhm.
very much so.
Them
And
influence.
it was cool when he was all making bread, but when stuff started happening, he started speaking out on stuff, then they started feeling a certain way, like, oh, you ain't supposed to do all this kind of stuff. But if Bruce
Oh, the tap dance,
Springsteen,
the puppet.
huh,
It's
right,
your puppet. We did that with
right,
the show Buckle Your
right.
Seatbelts. We talked about that. Yeah.
Exactly. 1000%. But if Bruce Springsteen, somebody I love, goes and does the same thing, then or Aerosmith, Steven Tyler,
You're
another person.
smart.
That's what I meant to mention last week when we were talking about the rock bands. I meant to mention Aerosmith.
Hmm.
Because I love Steven Tyler is like one of the best
Yeah.
singers in the world, like any genre. But it gets celebrated,
Hmm.
right? So it's kind of like one of those things. Now you look back at this place because she's not the only one, but yeah, having to perform because that's how you can make bread, right? Because a lot of the times, contractually, you may not, your publisher may not be in order a certain way, because that's a lot of times where it's at. A lot of people can really eat if your paperwork's right without having to do. Sir Mix-a-Lot eats to this day because of not only Baby Got Back, but as many times it's been sampled and all that kind of stuff, all the royalties he gets, he's probably getting $700,000 a year just off of that because he owned everything. So,
Hmm.
so that's why I said all of the above. All of
Yeah.
the above.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, and again, we're gonna tap on this and then we're gonna get in talk about DC. But it was released the other day, and wow, that Shannon Sharpe has a child out there, and he signed over his rights when the child was younger, um, and made sure financially that the child gets support. And, people are going in on him and things like that. I had a girlfriend, I'm still friend with the guy, he does taxes now. He did the same when he met her. He had already had three kids. You might know this story in California. He had already had three kids. He ended up dating this girl. They ended up getting pregnant. She ended up having the baby. He wanted nothing to do with the baby. So, kind of like Shannon Sharpe, he signed over his rights, um, did some financial things, and wanted nothing to do with it. When I was younger, I was like, that is the wrongest thing. How could you do that to your child? However, If someone says they want nothing to do with the child and you agree with it, then they signed over their rights, they handle their financial obligation, are they wrong?
I,
I
that's a
couldn't do
great
it,
question. I
but,
don't, and this is gonna sound, this is actually, what's the
and
word?
this is allegedly, but somebody did pull up the court documents and
This is
paperwork of it, but
this is actually against my own thing. That I'm gonna say no. I personally couldn't do that,
neither.
right? Only because of me personally. And again, it's no shade on anybody else who's done. Anthony Edwards, who's an NBA player, he did it recently
Yeah.
with this girl. I think she's either from Atlanta or from California, or she lives
Mhm.
in California now. He did the same thing. Financially, she'll be taken care of. He gave her money up front, signed away, gave 18 years worth of whatever the proposed child support would be based on his salary and all that kind of stuff, broke her off. Didn't want anything to do with it, X, Y, and Z. Obviously, people are going to jump in and say he's a no, he's a deadbeat and all the kind of stuff. But isn't that not the definition of a deadbeat? Isn't a deadbeat somebody who's not there, that doesn't help, that doesn't do X, Y, and Z? If they signed over their rights and make sure financially that the child is taken care of,
Mhm.
then that actually gives you the lease as the person to go make another life with somebody who wants to be involved. Because there's plenty of people that will step in, take
Absolutely.
your daughter or son, wife them up when they wife you up,
Yeah,
and you guys can go on and live happily ever after, right?
absolutely.
Um, and you now have the support to be able to do that. They've now put you in a position to where you can do that. Not only can you go live out your dreams, you can go do all this. There was another story when somebody had did that too, and I'm trying
Hmm.
to think. Well, there was another entertainer who had did that, and when he had talked about it, that's actually what he said. He's like, I wanted to make sure that she was good so that she didn't have to worry about the whatever, so that she can
Right.
go do whatever it is that she wanted to do. She
Hmm.
can go find her passion, and in that she can find true love with somebody she wants to be with, not with somebody that she has to be with, that feels like they can come in and, you're only with that person because they can come in and take care of
Hmm.
you. You're with that person because you truly want to. So I'm with you before and even today. I'm like, I couldn't do it only because I just, and mind you, I haven't had the honor of having any children yet. So now, if anybody was out there with minds, I just wouldn't, it would be hard for me to know that there was a version of me walking around without me being in the
Yeah.
picture. But
Yeah.
that does not condemn those who choose to do that if they do it this way. If you decide to take
They
care
did
of
it
it, whatever.
legally and they went the legal route. They
They went
didn't
the
just
legal route.
disappear, not call you, not they said, "Hey, I just want to be have an honest." And I'm again, guys, this is a tough one. It's such a tough one because I love children and I just can never understand signing over my rights. However,
Me
I would
neither.
have to say, would I rather deal with the guy who ignores my phone calls, don't come around, live right down the street? Or would I rather deal with the situation of him being mature enough and saying, hey, I don't want to deal with this obligation. I made a mistake. This is not what I want to do. So I want to sign over my rights. This is what I'm willing to do, but I just want nothing to do with that. I think that's a tough decision, but yeah.
I mean, it's like it's one of these things. You can't have it always, right? It's like it's the thing I would tell, like certain friends, it's the thing I've told women, that I've had conversations with in the past over the years. Like you can't have it both ways. And what I mean by that is if the dude isn't there, then you shaking your head and you doing all the stuff, and he is the worst person ever. He don't spend no time with his son. I can't believe him. He's terrible. He doesn't help. He don't do X, Y, and Z, this and that, and the
Hmm.
third.
Hmm.
But then there's the other situation where you guys don't work out. He don't want nothing to do with you, but he wants everything to do with his seeds. And then now you keep him from that simply because of your personal vendetta. You can't have it both ways. It's kind of in this situation too. Like we got to start making up our minds on what we're feeling. If the person is there, but they're not there, and then they're doing out and doing all these other kind of things, but they're there just for the sake of being there, then guess what? Oh, well, if you weren't feeling this, then you should have just left it alone and did all that kind of stuff. But then the person leaves it alone, has a mature conversation, says, here's the thing, I'm going to set you up and do all that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden he's, a deadbeat or whatever. You can't have it both ways. Something got to give. It's kind of like the same. That's kind of how I feel about it. Again, me personally, there's no,
There's no way.
you would have to, I would not. That I could not want anything to do with you. I could not, all those kinds of things. And me
I
not
want
having to
my
want nothing to
child
have to
back.
do with you may not even be a bad thing. It's not even really that you're terrible. It's just like, hey, look, we made a mistake. I didn't see you in that way. All these kinds of things. But
Right.
I'm gonna own this because this is mine,
Yeah.
right? So,
And that's
um,
the thing, we think about it after the fact, and who really suffers is the child. That to me is the one who suffers because he's not a part of this, or she is not a part of this negotiation. And to grow up and say, my mom or my dad didn't want me, and they signed over their rights. And I know they were trying to do the right thing, but I just feel bad. But I
that,
get it, I respect it. That's just me personally, how,
yeah,
you know,
there's no way that's me. I'm not dissing nobody, but me personally, that's what I was saying earlier. I couldn't have one of mine running out there without
yeah,
me
yeah,
personally. But
absolutely.
I'm not crapping on nobody if you decide to do it in a
I
mature
know.
way. I mean, you were mature about it.
Yeah, and our boy, we hope he can get in the news for something good. His name has just been kind of just run through the mud, right now. And it's unfortunate. It just goes back to decisions.
He
Uh,
just made some bad decisions.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the vilification behind it, again, there's somebody we're about to talk about that gets excused for everything.
That
So
part. So let's go ahead and lead into that, because basically, now I am from the DMV area. You
this is
can't tell me
personal.
about the crime.
This is personal for you.
I know. I'm a product of that. I lived in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. You can truly call me the DMV. And so, as you guys know, first of all, if Kay Harris doesn't run for president, Jay Ockett should. Okay. I say Jay Ockett. Good God Almighty. When I say this woman don't matter, she gonna say what she got to say. She don't give a daggone. She really, I would say she needs to go. If more people get to know who she is, and if they don't know her name, you are going to know her name, because this woman will speak her mind, and she doesn't care what anyone has to say. She is time enough. She just doesn't have the power because she's not on this level. But long story short, guys, if you have not heard about it, Big P is trying to decrease the crime in the District of Columbia right now, giving more rights to the POs, also deploying the National Guard at this time. But when you talk to DC Mayor, she's like, crime has already been reduced. What are we doing? Are we utilizing, in my mind, I'm like, is it more funds? Because I'm just like, God, I don't want the state to go bankrupt. It seemed like we're making a lot of power moves. And I can't say that all these power moves are bad. Some of these power moves that Big Piece did, whether y'all like it or not, I think some of them have been beneficial. I haven't agreed with all of them, but I think some are beneficial. Now, is crime up in DC? I don't know the statistics. I can't speak on that. What I will say is that my niece was jumped pretty badly. And I heard about another one of my cast members, her, son getting shot. My nephew has experienced some things in the DC area. So there is a lot going on just in my personal surroundings and things going on. So anytime there's going to be a decrease in crime, I'm all for it. However, there is a disconnect right now. And the beautiful thing of this show is Aunt Wow and I have different perspectives. And I think Aunt Wow is going to talk about where the disconnect is. So, Aunt Wow, let me pass this baton to you, because I can see your faces.
Dude is full of crap. Um, Here's what I mean, and that's not a partisan statement, bro. It's really not. First of all, let's be real. I had the she had said the crime in DC was down 25%.
Hmm.
Now, I've only been to DC a couple times. I personally had a phenomenal experience in DC. DC treated your boy well. Um, One of my absolute dearest friends on planet Earth, Lisa Renee, is from the DC DMV area.
Hey, yeah.
All those kinds of things, right? So to say that crime doesn't need to be addressed, that would be irresponsible of me,
Well,
right? Especially coming from a lot of the perspective I come from, that'd be irresponsible. Like to say there's no accountability that needs to happen, that'd be irresponsible. Let's just keep it a thou wow. Like that part, okay. If you feel like that, whatever. But with the crime going down 25%, for me, this is why I keep saying and urging anybody who listens. If there's one reason I want this show to blow up, it's because when we talk, people listen from this standpoint. This is why we need to be aware, people, because it's way bigger than that. It's a whole the whole desensitization movement. The terrorism I'm worried about is the terrorism coming from within. Now, to say certain things don't need to be addressed would be ignorant of me. I'm not saying that.
terrorism. Hmm.
What I say?
Nothing. Keep going.
I might have messed it up. I don't know.
That's okay. We won't get monetized. It's okay for this video. We got to say what we got to say. Keep going.
My bad. Oh yeah, because you did do all the kind of stuff. See, I'm sorry. I need to
That's
get on
all
a
right.
platform where I don't got to
Well,
be
you
as
know
worried
what?
because it
Here's the
affects how
deal.
I spit my
Here's the
thing.
deal, real quick, and wow. We do want the money off of monetization, but I think it's more important that the message gets out. So I say that as executive producer of this show, have your way. Have your way. That's more important.
Um, so but it's the optics of it, right? Because now you're enforcing curfew. You got the National Guard in here, so now we're already starting to see these things now where what's happening now is people are now getting harassed for standing in front. This dude was standing in front of his spot smoking a cigarette, and the police, what are you doing? What are you doing? This and that and the third. It's the what's the word I'm looking
It's so
for?
ambiguous. You give people a little power,
Right.
you know.
The disguise is that crime is up. We got to get out of here. We got to stop crime. But then what happens is then they start to desensitize you in a different way to where certain things become normal. I.e., you're sitting in front of your house, you're smoking a cigarette or something, and now they're coming up to you, and now all of a sudden, guess what? Everyone fits the description.
Yeah.
Who are they looking for in DC? Right? Who are they looking for? They're looking for us now, to us, to us.
Mm.
This is why we need to
Oh,
be more. We have got to listen. The revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but you picked the wrong guy. We have got to be aware of everything that's happening now. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is all this soldier movement we're doing, all this op searching we're doing, at the fundamentals of it, at least in the school that we're from, we always knew who the common enemy was. And I don't even mean to say enemy like that because it doesn't mean there's certain people that are us that are, I can go off on a bunch of us who have public platforms right now that I'm like, dude, you need to get off because you do not speak for anybody that looks like me and you
right.
look like me. So this ain't even just about a strict thing, it's a system thing. And
Hmm.
what's happening is over time, they give us these pacifying equalizers, if you will, and now all of a sudden they get to slowly but surely rewrite history to where we're saying, "Oh, well, this and that and the third." No, listen, we have all the accountability, 1,000%.
Hmm.
Crime is up. We need to do better. All the things. I'm not. I'm not saying that. But the reality of it is now when the National Guard's coming in, now when they're deploying these places in these cities, who are they coming to look for? It's even more reason for us to be on a microscope, which is even more reason why we got to be smarter about how we do our dirt. Straight up. Like
Or
there's a
don't do the dirt. How
movement.
about that?
It's happening right now, you
Yeah.
guys. These are examples. It's happening right now. And all he's doing is um fulfilling the promise that he said he was going to do. This is designed. Hey, listen, there's a whole bunch of, we had this discussion too a couple shows back when we were talking about, all the protesting and stuff that's going on with the ICE people and all that kind of stuff. You know who the ultimate end goal is? Us. That's where they're really going for. All they're trying to do now is they're trying to get rid of any ally because they know when it all comes down, we all are on the same team when it all comes down to it. So now you got to keep the division, and now let's slowly but surely get rid of all these possible allies. They're coming for us. Period. And I get on my bag. I am the offspring of Malcolm. All that stuff. Call me what you will. But this is what's happening. It's hidden in plain sight, y'all. It's right in front of your face. This is another reason. You know what that does? So then that plays on the mind state. So then guess what that does? That further emphasizes why people have preconceived notions about us before they even meet us. I can't tell you how many times I've had to tell somebody, I walk into a store, I have to separate myself from somebody that they already formulated me to be based on nothing that I've done personally. Nobody else has to do that. This is the time right now, and this is one of the latest reiterations of that. It's a psyche thing. Now everybody is coming looking, oh, we all fit the description. That part is terrible. But, and if I could separate it and put us all in a separate room, I would say, look, we need to be better. Right? Like, both are true. Because I hear a lot of people talking, even people that are us, and they're like, oh, they need to do all this. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but where's the other side to it? Like, it's either we're too much like this is wrong, or we're too much all on the Johnson of Big P. Like, and I'm talking to us. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm talking about us. Like, well, why can't we need more responsibility, but still have the compassion for, I miss that. So that's why I want us to blow up, because I need that lane to be represented more, because that's not the lane that's represented. Like,
Right.
I'm here to the core. I don't give a damn what nobody say. But at the
Right.
end of the day, listen, y'all, a lot of the people that are feeling the crime are us. A lot of the people who are doing the crime, especially in DC, which was nicknamed Chocolate City, are us. So we need to, what the problem is becoming is because as the gentrification is happening, now more people are in these neighborhoods, and now they're starting to be close to it. That's where the problem is. Come on, y'all. This has been going on.
Yeah.
The problem is now the gentrification is happening, and now there's more people in these areas that are normally occupied by us, and now you'll see it on the news too. Oh yeah, that was right around the corner. Oh, now it's, oh my God, it's appalling. Well, shoot, come on, man. They don't. We have got to do better.
That part. That part, guys. So we are going to get into the story you guys have been waiting for, the story that has been trending. If you guys have not seen my comedic skit of me being Dr. Umar, you have got to see it. You have got to see it. You have got to see it. Triple time for Dr. Umar. I am going to play the commentary that he talked about on his show directly, talking about the FDMG, about the school that he is building he was building in Wilmington, Delaware, and how
and we're going to invite our donors and support.
get this back. And
Special.
he showed up. Did you hear that, Aunt Wow? Were you able to hear that audio?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure how he showed up and saw, certain things on his paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to play it. Aunt Wow and I are going to commentate on it throughout. We're not going to go through this whole thing probably, but we'll just commentate it on some parts. But for some of you that have not heard it, we'll share a little bit and we'll let Dr. Umar, instead of us giving our opinions, we'll let Dr. Umar tell his story. But long story short, he saw some things hanging from his door of his school. And we'll let you know. I'll just tell you that part and we'll let you hear the rest. Here we go.
Announcement. FDMG Academy bank accounts are still frozen. Dr. Umar personal bank account is still frozen. Brothers and sisters, we are fighting this war against FDMG and Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We still haven't got our refund. We still haven't got our refund. We still haven't got our refund.
So for some of you that don't know what the FDMG stands for, that's for Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. So I just wanted to state that.
So not only are the accounts frozen, make sure y'all hit my Venmo and my PayPal. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or tap my Venmo. Text me for the links to donate to FDMG. Text me for the links to support Dr. Umar. 215-989-9858.
So, and again, I've always been a fan of Dr. Umar, but I keep hearing him say, send money to me, send money for the school. Is it
215-989-9858.
Is it for the money? Is it for him or is it for the school? Because I'm confused. But we'll keep playing it. So
on August the 5th, brothers and sisters, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a notice to auction off the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus for unpaid vacant property registration fees. I repeat, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a lien to auction off the campus we bought, the campus we've been working on for 6.5 years. I was not notified of this. We were not notified of this. This past weekend, without an email, this past weekend, without a letter in the mail, this past weekend, without a phone call, the city of Wilmington put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools, informing me that if we don't pay the past due vacant property registration fees and outstanding utilities by the 25th of Black August, they will sell our campus.
So guys, I have a heart for this school because this school was going to be for little young boys to grow up and just learn all these different things. I even volunteered to teach. I used to teach drama. Anthony, I think, has done part-time teaching too as well.
Sure.
So the fact that the school is going to be auctioned off for so many of us who have been willing to donate, some of us have donated our money, willing to donate our time, really just investing in him to see this. The first thing that comes to my mind, being a business major, Aunt Wow, and I think you were a business major too, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
is that his tax paperwork is not being handled properly. A lot of times when we start businesses, we come up with we create these email addresses and stuff, but sometimes we don't man them, and that's why I went back to my old email address because I'm like, this email, let me just go back to my old one. But a lot of times when you're creating a business, especially being new in it, you're thinking, oh, this is what I got to do. I got to have an email like this, an email like this. The city of Wilmington, the city of Delaware doesn't play. I have had probably more tickets out here than I need to have. I'm like, God, y'all give tickets for everything. They do not play out here. But most times, when you have this type of situation happening, there has been some type of notification. So the fact that he didn't get a phone call, he didn't get an email, he didn't get something in the mail, it makes me think, was it an email address that was incorrect? Was it a phone number? Has he moved? I do know that him and his ex has been going at it. I don't know if you heard it. He calls her Medea. And I mean, she's really just kind of trashed his image and how they slept together, and him saying that she smells like fish. I mean, it's just been a nasty war
Brothers
between.
and sisters, can I ask you a question? Why
And he's actually saying that he thinks she had something to do with this actual situation. So, and wow, anything before I keep playing it? I'm gonna keep playing.
were we not notified that they were going to try to sell our campus? Brothers and sisters, why are they trying to sell our campus at the very moment that our accounts are frozen? Brothers and sisters, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the city of Wilmington is trying to sell properties that we own and have been working on continuously behind our backs? They were going to sell our schools behind our backs. They didn't even tell us that they were going to try to sell our schools. We received no notice in the mail. We received no notice by email. We received no phone calls at all that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door handle. Somebody stole one set of notifications and sent it to the YouTubian struggle streamers. Somebody stole the Frederick Douglass High School paperwork off the front door and sent it to the struggle streamers. But luckily for us, Sister Ra Ebony was able to get the paperwork off the Marcus Garvey School before the haters stole that paperwork. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe that they were going to sell the school, and they wanted to sell the school before we found out. I believe that they wanted to sell the school before we found out. We were not supposed to know.
So he says, tell me you guys' opinion. He believes they were trying to sell the school without them knowing. He believes they're trying to sell the school without them knowing. He believes they're trying to sell the school without him knowing. I don't know if that's necessarily true, y'all.
So where I'm unclear is your bank accounts and the school's funding account is frozen. Why?
He goes in, it looks like there was back taxes that were not being paid.
Okay, that's why you mentioned the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So there were back taxes that were not being
Yeah,
paid.
that were not being paid.
That's why they froze it.
Yeah, and it looks like I normally that's what happens because if you think about it, when I've had, what do you call that when you owe taxes and they put like I've heard people
A
talk put like a
lien?
lien. Yeah. They put a lien like on properties or different stuff on you. And I feel like they're trying to get the money any way that they can. So they might have froze his account saying that, hey, but I don't think it's a personal thing. I think it's a business thing. And I think it teaches all of us from a business perspective, if we're not strong in that area, we've got to hire people in that area. Aunt Wow and it's very difficult. And as much as Dr. Umar has blown up, and I'm happy to see anybody win. But a lot of times we're working this thing as a one man or one woman machine, and you need help. You need help for people to say, hey, let me give you these finances. Can you just handle this? Let me give you this marketing. Can you just handle this? Let me give you this. Let's all come in and do a writing session together so that you're not having to do, because what happens is things like this, it does get missed from people starting businesses. Dr. Umar started the school, which is a great idea. He started to be this activist, out here in the streets, but now, Aunt Wow, people are saying he's nothing but a panhandler.
That they were going to sell our school. Why do I say that? We were given no notification. We received no letter in the mail. We received no email. We received no phone call that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door. In a low-income neighborhood, they put a notice on the door with rubber band and masking tape. They put a notice on the school front door with a rubber band and masking tape. Brothers and sisters, it gets worse. Back in April, when I found out about the overdue vacant property registration fees, I had asked the city of Wilmington if they could retroactively apply our nonprofit waiver. According to the nonprofit waiver for the city of Wilmington, if you are a nonprofit organization, they will waive your vacant property registration fees for 4 years. If you are a nonprofit organization in the city of Wilmington, they will waive your nonprofit vacant property registration fees for 4 years. If they would have applied our nonprofit vacant property registration waiver, we would owe absolutely nothing. We would owe.
So here's the thing. If he contacted them about the waiver, then they did have his
Absolutely
information.
Nothing. We would owe absolutely nothing. But I asked them.
If he was in contact with them about the waiver, this lets me know that they did have some proper email, telephone, address, or something. So I just want to call that out because it sounds like he applied for this waiver to waive these set fees. Somehow it got lost in translation. Here, let's finish this.
And they ignored my emails for 4 months. They ignored my phone calls for 4 months. They ignored our emails for 4 months. They ignored our phone calls for 4 months. And instead, the first time I hear from them since April, the first time I hear from them since contacting them April, asking them to apply our vacant property registration fee waiver to the past 4 years so we would owe absolutely nothing, they ignored me since April.
Okay, so he's saying that they ignored him. Did they ignore him? Did he have, and this is just me guys speculating, did he not have the right email address? And also, again, guys, as business owners, if someone's not responding to us, Aunt Wow, then what do? Go
They
to another channel.
Ignored me since April. No.
Go through another channel, and if you're in the city of Wilmington, Delaware, and you're going through the city,
go there.
Go to the city.
Go to the city.
Go to the city.
No email,
That's
nothing in the
what I
postal
was
mail
thinking.
since April. And the first thing we find out, the first time we hear from them since April, is a letter on the front door of the school, affixed with a rubber band and masking tape. A rubber band and masking.
I want to just touch on what Anthony stated because it came on. What could he have done? Because I want people to hear
go there. That's what I'm thinking the whole time. Like when he's talking about, they didn't, no response, no call, no response, no this and that and the third. If you have this action and this initiative that is set to take place, and you need to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Just had to do this with a couple situations myself. I reached out. You got to go. You got to go. There's too much riding on it. You got to go.
It's a pain, but you do.
That part right there, if you're opening the school there, you're from Philly, right? Ain't he from Philly?
Mm-hmm. I believe he is. Yeah,
I believe he is. I think he's from Philly, but then he said earlier the 215 area code, which I believe is Philly. So you're not that far from Wilmington, Delaware, right? Go up there, right? So yeah, that part right there. I like what, it's kind of, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, because he was like, man, because, a lot of people out here, like you said that certain people said he comes off like nothing but a panhandler, and a lot of people have some, not so nice things to say, and oh man,
absolutely, they've been eating them alive.
It's a scam, it's a hustle, X, Y, and Z. I can't speak to that, X, Y, and Z. There are certain things that he does or say that can come off skeptical, but again, I'm one of these cats that love, so that doesn't mean he gets any passes. All I'm saying is if we got somebody out here scamming, at least they trying to scam under a situation that's righteous, as opposed to being out here killing us and shaking booty, like, at least the message under which they're trying to scam under is something that's back towards the days of, where the real revolution started. But again, back to your point, as far as, because I know here's what happens a lot of times with Black businesses. What happens is and this sounds terrible because this isn't a Black or a white thing.
But he does bring that up. He believes it is a race thing, and he wants to get his team together and start to protest.
Yeah. That's very well fine. When I was saying Black or white thing, I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about the way in which you handle certain bit, like, because sometimes I'll catch myself. I'll be like, hey man, For instance, I'll be like, look, man, you got to be like a white boy on this particular thing. You got to get this X, Y, and Z. That's not a black or a
Mm-hmm.
white thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when I say that, people know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm saying that to say that's why you needed to go up there. That's why you needed to have, like you said, financial people who are dedicated, and don't just get somebody you know and
Mm-hmm.
have them be a financial person. Go get you a real financial person. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a real financial person. Put together a really, I'm sure you've put together a lot of, you know what that video would have really been impactful? If you shot it in front of the school.
Ooh, Dr. Umar. You
Does
should
that
have
make
been
sense?
showing it and showing and
Because
then put,
now
yeah.
that you eliminate certain things, right?
Yeah.
You eliminate certain things. Now you're
You
in the
see,
car, you're talking, you're speaking your message, brother, and I hear you.
I know.
But you're saying you can go here and donate. Okay, all the stuff you're saying may have been true, but you should have been doing that in front of the school. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't get to the school, if they had a gate around it, look, y'all, see, they got this gate here. This is where they left the
Mm,
letter. It resonates differently,
yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
go up there, this is just business stuff. Because now what you do now is, especially us in business, right? We have to do everything we can to eliminate so that when you do say, I think they're trying to do this, now you have all these things in a row where you kind of leave it like no choice. Okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
dang, I ain't got no other choice but to believe this is what they were trying to do because you had this is what you did here, this is what you did here, da 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 da. Like you said, they never responded to you for 4 months. Go up there.
Yeah.
Then you have a receipt of that. Hey man, I went up here on this day. This is the letter I got. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, you could have been doing documentary style of you going up there, even if they don't let you film in there. Hey, look, all right, y'all, I'm about to walk in here. They haven't been responding. You
Yeah.
have to. This is unfortunately, this is the game that we're playing, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, and I'm becoming a bigger fan of her the more I hear her. But you talk about Jay Ockett, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the difference with her is hers are receipt based,
Yeah.
right? So, and especially in this climate where I'm not saying this, Dr. Umar, but where others are saying, and most of the people that are saying it are us, right? So, in this climate where others are saying X, Y, and Z, you have to take, in my opinion, extra steps to ensure that all these things are being taken care of. Like you said, if you over back taxes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, they could have tried to pull the rug up under you,
Yeah.
but if you have the power and influence, right, you need to have these people, and again, I don't know, I don't. Hey, listen, I can't speak to. I'm not in that stage, but
Mm-hmm.
if you have the notoriety, I'm sure, and this I'm naming huge names here, so please forgive me, but I'm sure LeBron James has heard of Dr. Umar.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
LeBron James has his school. Now,
Of
LeBron
course.
James is different. He's worth mega dollars, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not. But LeBron James had to do the exact same things
Mm.
that you had to do. And I'm sure they came up with every obstacle possible to
Yeah.
try and stop LeBron James from opening that school because LeBron James has a legitimate school. It ain't just no, it's a legitimate school.
Yeah.
It's a high ranking school at that, as far as academia, all those
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like, you know,
Oprah did a school too. So, a couple of people have did that route.
So I'm saying if you have this influential space, even if you can't reach them, you having this space, you should be able to reach certain people who can help in this situation. Like it doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it didn't happen at all. I'm only giving suggestions based on what I'm given.
Absolutely. And here's a picture of the school. I was looking at several of them to just make sure this was the right school. I want to drive by it. I'm in Delaware, now. So it's something I don't want them to tear it down or it comes into something else without seeing this because a lot of us was very hopeful for it. And it looks like Dr. Umar is not giving up on his dream. I know the world is probably against him right now, but I would tell him if he's being honest and he's being pure, in his heart. Stick to your dream, do what you want to do. Because, like
1,000.
you said, And while, women, I will tell you this because, TikTok is letting him have it and men are letting him have it too, but I see the women are really going into it. We don't think like men. Men are different in how they do things. And Aunt Wild said something very, very deep. He could be trying to hustle us for one thing, but he's really trying to do something different. It's somebody said that it's easy to build a school, and I disagree with them. I don't believe that. I don't believe it's easy to
Go
build
build
a
a
school. I
school
think
then.
it takes a lot of work. But I just think that, if Dr. Umar, I would love if he would come on our show. But if I could tell Dr. Umar anything, and I know he's seen my comedy skit. When I say I know for a fact he's seen it, I know for a fact he's seen it. And I know several people have seen it because I see some people repeating some of the things that I said on my comedy skit. I
Of
think because
course.
his name is trending, my video is coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it's coming
trending
up.
because his name is on it. Um, I would say this, Dr. Umar, to you, and we do welcome you on Another Mother. Um, you've had some issues with your child coming out. You've had some issues with women coming out. You have these tax invasions coming out. You've made some probably not best decisions with these women because if you did, some of this stuff probably would not be out on you right now. And listen, we've all made bad decisions. So we get it, we understand it. Now it's time to recover yourself, get this mess cleaned up because right now it is really hurting your credibility. For me, who is a fan of yours, I can tell you I'm a little bit confused at this moment because there's just been a lot of doors that's been falling down. And the thing about them falling down, you can always get back up, but you have to do something to clear up this mess because it's just been too much messiness that's been happening around your name.
For sure.
Kind of like when we talked about Shannon Sharpe. Shannon is too sharp to have his name in the mud like it has been for these past months. We're saying the same thing for you. You're a very smart brother. You're too sharp to keep letting these balls drop. And we talk about decision making, decision making. Who cares what you did in the past? Who cares what it is? If your heart is in the right place, if your heart is in the right place, I say, Dr. Ubar, if your heart is in the right place, it's time for recovery action right now, right? I know hey, Dr. Umar fund, FDMG fund, like, nah, nah. If it's for FDMG, that's what it
It's
needs to be.
FDMG.
It's not about us putting money in your pockets. Now, you do go and speak at events, and if you go and do certain stuff, go to Vlad. Vlad pays his people to come on there. I don't know if he'll have you, but Vlad pays his guests to come on his show. Make your money off of that, but don't look to the fact of telling people to put money in your pockets. We all are trying to do multiple jobs and do multiple things to have our income to do what we have to do. You have to drive that income, Dr. Umar, on monetization on your YouTube channel, TikTok, getting brand deals with, Instagram. And I'm probably preaching to the choir. And if I'm not, I'm telling you, that's going to have to be the way. You got to stop putting your name in with the school.
Yeah,
Because
I
when
agree.
you're asking, if I tell people support buckle your seatbelts and then say, but also you can cash out Lisa Renee, which one is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Right? Am I supporting buckle your seatbelts, this project to be able to bring light to things that are happening in aviation, or am I putting money in Lisa Renee pockets? No, Lisa Renee got a job. And that's what's putting money in Lisa Renee pockets. Lisa does acting. That's what puts money in Lisa Renee pockets. I'm not out here. That's why I'm never on my birthday. I know people do that. I'm not out here on my birthday asking for people to cash at me. No judgment to anybody out there. I'm just saying that's not what I do. And for you, Dr. Umar, you've got to clean this mess up.
Yeah.
You've got to clean this mess up. So That's coming from a loving place. Any last words, Aunt Wow, on
No,
that?
I agree. I mean that's you hit it perfectly. Like you're confusing the message. You have all this stuff coming out, and unfortunately, because you are in this path of righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be scrutinized more. But this is the path of righteousness that you wanted to walk. And quite frankly, it would help tremendously if you were clean. People like us need people like you doing it clean,
Mm.
right? But if it's confusing, and listen, and I'm going to quote you, Dr. Umar, because you said something very powerful that I 1000% agree with when you were talking about the Diddy stuff. And you, when you were talking about you were going through the series of actions that happened, and then when they really started coming at Diddy's because he went against the establishment, the same establishment that was protecting him for all the stuff that he was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, and you said that, oh yeah, and the one thing that they could blame on is black people because nobody hates on black people more than black people.
Mm. Mm.
That was your quote. I couldn't agree with that more. Like who's who? Shannon Sharpe. Who beating Shannon Sharpe up? It's us.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't see a whole lot. I mean, you'll see people here and there, but if you talking about they letting him have it, it's us.
Yeah.
We in there, quick to let each other have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, we're quick to. We're waiting on it. We don't. I don't even think we realize how conditioned we are to wait on that so that we can come in and do it. It affects us in so many ways, y'all. That's like 4 different shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different ways that affects us. That was
Absolutely.
your quote, Dr. Umar,
It
and
is.
I agree with it wholeheartedly.
It
So
is.
in order to keep that clean, you gotta be more righteous because all these things are conflicting signals. And then now the last thing that we need as a culture is the used car salesman sentiment attached to somebody whose message is preaching righteousness. That
Mm.
completely demeans everything that we're doing.
It does. It really, really does, guys. So we're going to leave you with this inspirational quote because we know, that times are tough for each and every one of you, but we try to find something that we think relates to what we're talking about, relates to the current day. And so this is by Jim Rohn. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Dr. Umar, listen. Either you run the day or the day runs you. And while you want to take this first or what?
First of all, Jim Rome has got bars for anybody who doesn't know. Jim Rome got a lot of bars. He's responsible for a lot of the stuff that we see. He was 40 years ahead of this stuff. If anybody who out there who likes Tony Robbins and whatever, Jim
Oh,
Rome literally taught Tony Robbins. Like he was that far ahead of the game that we're still just kind of catching up to, right? Which is
yeah.
kudos to Tony Robbins for seeing it 45 years ago, however long
Yes.
ago it was that he seen it.
Yes.
Um, so anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out, RIP to Jim Rohn, because Jim Rohn was
Hmm.
way ahead of the game. Um, and hey, listen, this just happened. This just happened kind of today, but really more so Tuesday.
Hmm.
Either you run the day or the day runs you, right? So if you get up and because every minute really counts in the day, when you really hold yourself to a standard, you realize how much every minute counts. Like
Hmm.
even today, I went on just a little bull crap, right? Just a bull crap. I was looking for something, literally business. I was looking something up, and then you run across the post, and then somebody sends you something, and then you're doing this, and then whoop, whoop, whoop. And I looked up, and 12 minutes went by, and I said, hell no, I cannot get those 12 minutes back, right?
Right.
So then when you get on that pattern too much, this is just an example. There's plenty of examples, but this is an example. If you get on that pattern too much, especially if you're cognizant of it, now most people are okay. They go through, they work, they scroll through, and then that's their day, and they're cool with it.
Hmm.
People like Lisa and myself, we got other stuff going on. See what
Right.
I'm saying? We're part of the we're on the other side of that. We're part of the trend setters, not the trend watchers. See what I'm saying? So when you get behind like that, then everybody's heard this phrase. Now you're chasing the day
Mm.
because it's running you,
Mm.
right? Because you didn't get up and run
Mm.
the day.
Yes.
You didn't get up with a plan of action. But that doesn't mean there isn't no F off time. We all need F off time. It just needs to be different. If you are one of those people that can go on the phone and say, okay, put a timer on, and you're able to scroll for 8 minutes and X, Y, and Z, and then when the timer goes off, okay, it's a hard stop, and you're able to go back to work,
Hmm.
then more power to you. Hey, preacher, hey,
But
do your
most
thing.
people can't do that. Yeah.
I am one of them people who can't do that.
Yeah.
I recognize that about myself. I
Hmm.
am too sensitive. I am too, because then what? You'll come across a bad, something that affects you in a certain way. So now, not only mental health, because me and Lisa talk about mental health, but now my
Hmm.
whole existence health is changed,
Yeah.
right? My whole body is changed. Now I'm just over here on this. I can't believe these people is on this bull stuff. So now what? Now
Yeah.
you're scrolling for more stuff, and now you want to do it, and now your mind is on this. So now you're hoping to find something that answers the other question, and next thing you know, 72 minutes has went by.
And that's how the system was designed to do.
And
Just
it's literally designed to be that way. You know why it's so easy for us to crash out on each other now? I was thinking about this the other day too. I was thinking about this when it came to gang violence because working on this project and I'm coming up with scenes and all this kind of stuff. And I always like to do scenes that depict the situation, but add that human element, especially from the real people. As opposed to it just being one way, it adds all the elements to it, elements of
hmm
funny, all this,
hmm
even in these particularly dramatic situations, right?
hmm
And I was thinking about this and I'm like, you know what? Like it was, it was, I know today it's different, right? Like you can walk down and somebody can just hit you with whatever, and that's whatever. But it was different in the day because we weren't doing all this. So you had to be outside, which
Right.
means you had to run into these people. So
Hmm.
it was different. Right now, we can be internet thugs. Everybody's an internet gangster. I can get here and talk
Right.
about stuff and X, Y, and Z and this and that and the third. And then if I happen to run across you, if I've been talking all this, I'm going to do this to you when I see you, then I got to go do it because I've been saying I'm going to do it if you believe in that code or whatever, which is why
Hmm.
it's become a lot more senseless. That's why there's no perspective in it. Even if you were listening to Compton Most Wanted or Scarface or Ice Cube or something back in the day, even whatever what they were saying, there was always the perspective in it because we were still always in the same boat because we was
Hmm.
outside, right? But here
Yep.
was the flip side of it too. Back to the design of it. The flip side of it is this, because I've seen this happen tremendously. I've been a part of this. I've seen it happen heck of times. The other part of it is too, when you're outside like that, yes, there's conflict, problems, all that. You can get wet up, all the things. But also what can happen is if they catch you in the right situation, you might realize, oh man, this dude's cool as hell. Or this girl is cool as I don't know what. You
True.
know how many wars I've seen solved simply because they were forced to be in the same place at a particular time. And not to sound a certain way, but like me, my group of friends, my sister, all that, a lot of times we bring these people together because we're always cool, because we've
Yeah.
always just been normal. We for the culture. We ain't
Yeah.
with all that, right?
Yeah.
So then you get these people in these situations who would never be cool, and guess what? Man, this person's hecka cool. They
Yeah.
would. And guess what? Now you have this shot caller, hella cool with this shot caller. They're on different sides of the track. So then guess what? Now everybody follows suit. Then guess what happens after that? Unity. So now when something really happens, they all calling. Let's go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's how the gang truce was able to happen,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it's by design. I'm staying on task. It's by design because it keeps us separate. You know how many times I drive by somebody and they don't even look up, they never even
I
make eye
know.
contact with you, right? It teaches
The
us to be
psyche.
separate. It's the psyche. It
Hmm.
teaches you to be separate. It teaches you to be impersonal. It teaches you to be detached,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So when you get caught up in that, then the day just runs you. It
Yeah.
literally runs away.
Yeah. It
It
does.
literally runs away.
It really
You
does.
have to run the day. When you get up, you got to. It's simple things. We talked about it on the show. And listen, I'm still a work of art because a lot of times I get up, if I see I have a missed text or something, I automatically want to get to it because my brain's automatically going to work or X, Y, and Z. But what can happen is you can get something else and it can take you on a rabbit hole. And when that happens when you wake up, then your day is dictated by that. Now you're chasing the day because now
Yeah.
you more susceptible to the F stuff that you run across.
Yeah.
So run the day, don't let
Yeah.
it run you. That's powerful.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give you some other scenarios too, as well. You know how people, let's say Beyonce's in the news, right? Which, Jay-Z has been and she has been because of her concert. But when Beyonce's concert was over, Beyonce dropped a Levi's ad. You know what I mean?
Showing
Or she
cheeks.
could come online and go, how dare you guys talk about my car tilting to the side or my daughter may have this type of medical condition. She don't even go into that because she's not going to let y'all run her day. She's going to run you by dropping these ads, dropping this whiskey, dropping this sacred, dropping these things that y'all going to purchase and y'all don't realize that she's running you through that way,
Yep.
right? Yesterday, me and my colleagues, we decided to do something in the morning. They said one thing, one person did something different. They said, well, let's all meet at 6:15. I said, no, I'll be there at the time that Delta tells me to be there. Everyone else was followers and did what the other person did. I stood on my own because I refused to let someone run my day. I need my extra 15 minutes. This is all y'all do. And I have nothing against that, but I do other things. So if Delta tells me to be here at this time, I'm going to listen to Delta because if something happens, Delta knows exactly where I am because I followed what they said to do. I'm also not going to let you run and do what you want me to do based on your emotion and your opinion.
Right.
So it can even happen in that way that people can make decisions that you know that is against your gut. And if you do it, they are running you
Yep.
versus you starting off your day in a conscious. I had to start my day off in a good conscious that Delta is paying me right now. And I need to show up when they tell me to show up, despite what happens. And they were like, oh, the captain bought us coffee. You missed out. Now I didn't miss out on anything. Because
Yeah.
Lisa bring her own creamer. I make the
Hmm.
coffee here, pour my own creamer, and I'm good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I didn't miss anything. I did exactly what I need to do, which means you don't dictate my day at all. My
Right.
day starts the way that it needs to start. And so Aunt Wild said something a while back. He says, guys, the best thing you can do, I don't know if you remember this, is wake up and give yourself like 15 minutes.
Yep.
Just give yourself your brain to do nothing for like, and that's hard. Even we want to get up and start praying. Give your brain a minute so that it can even catch conscious of your prayer. We're
Right.
so into these habits. We go into these habits that we've done, and we don't realize that the habits are running us.
Right.
Because the prayer is probably not even true like it should be because your mind is just waking up. But imagine if you can give yourself 15 minutes. I'm going to set the clock at 15 minutes. I'm up now, but I just need to woosah.
Right.
I need to have nothing in my mind. And that's kind of what meditation is in a sense. You didn't present it that way, but a lot of people look at meditation in that way. At this moment, I want nothing in my mind. But even with meditation, there's sometimes music behind. I got your thing of saying, no, I don't want to do nothing. Like nothing, don't bother me. This is my 15 minutes. And then after my 15 minutes, I'm clear, I'm awoke, I'm alert. Now let me start my prayer. Let me start my meditation. Let me start my workout. Let me start whatever that's going to be. But I got to run that. I don't want that to run me. That's why I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of people to always say, hey, make sure you call me when you do this or don't put your demands on me.
Yeah.
Because now that's going to be in my head. You know what I'm saying? And well,
For
that's
sure.
why I always tell people get to me when you can get to me.
Yep.
Because when you put a demand on a person on top of 1,000 other demands, you don't understand that that's another weight that they got to carry when they're already carrying 10 weights.
Right.
So you got to let people not run your day. So when I say I'm giving you these scenarios to say this is deeper than just even start off the morning, it could be people making decisions for you. Nah, don't tell me to call you. Don't put that.
Yeah.
And if you do, tell me to call you when I get time or when it's a good time. But
Right.
people put their pressures and their demands on you, and now they are running your day versus you running your day. So these are
Exactly.
just some scenarios that we're putting out there that you have to take control of your life, because if you don't, someone else is going to take control of it. And while I talked about social media, I talked about, different things that can happen
Yep.
in your life, guys. So run the day or the day runs you. Guys, we thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to Another Mother. We know we're trying to get up and going back since we've been back from the many, many shows we've had to perform and put out there, but we got some things coming up in the fall that we're trying to work out some of those kinks, and we'll talk to you about those things that will be coming up later in the fourth quarter. Get your coffee, get your tea, and most importantly, guys, get
Get
your
your
love.
love.
Bye, everybody.